All right, you guys, you ready to do this? Yeah, we showed up in August, had everybody on campus. We're doing all of our preliminary things. We're one day in, and we sit down for a meeting with the athletic director, who says the Mountain West has decided to cancel fall sports. And it was a very devastating announcement, one that I think the players in a way expected, but once you hear it, it really takes hold.
I was really hoping that we'd have a season, especially because I had tried to find all of these ways to get back from Italy to the US, and I ended up staying in Turkey 2 weeks just so I could come back for a fall season. I had talked to the coaches a lot, and we just really thought that we were going to have a fall season. So when I got here, and after all of those struggles, it was very disappointing to not have a season. I can't say I was surprised, because with everything going on and other conferences canceling before us, I think it was a bit expected, but we were all just really hoping to have a season and play our game again.
And so when it came down, it wasn't completely unexpected, but it also was just kind of shocking to like have your gear day and have your first day, and then it just be kind of like, oh, well, we're in an off season now. And so that was an interesting kind of shift in mindset.
We knew coming into practice things were going to be different, but all of a sudden we have these protocols laid upon us that make things completely different.
As far as like only a certain number of people are in the locker room, so you don't really have that place where you're catching up on each other's day and really getting to know each other before and after practice.
Everybody wanted to grow, and everybody knew that we would like have our ups and downs as far as just we lost a lot of experience last year, but I also think who we had coming back, as far as having Sierra, having Alexa, and having Bree, they were really strong players that we all kind of were able to trust and lean on, and so it was a good kind of transition as far as knowing you have a lot of experience in them.
It was kind of an interesting role, because coming in knowing I was a senior, the coaches kind of expected me and Alexa to kind of be that leadership role. Being gone and then coming back, I knew that the girls maybe wouldn't know my style or wouldn't really react to me the same way that I did if I was there all season. But being a senior, I feel like they kind of respected me, and I was able to come in comfortably into my role again.
Yeah, I think Brianna last year was pretty comfortable with her senior class, and they knew how each other played, and they had known each other for 4 years. So this year I think it was a challenge for her, and she really stepped up as a leader to get to know the younger players. And Kennedy Stanford played her position, and so she was helping her out a lot and just kind of stepping more into that leadership role.
Yeah, Brianna was obviously the most effective player for us, and when she was in a match, she was the player that the other team had to focus on. She's still very good, and she started out, because she had taken the fall off, a little bit rusty. But the interesting thing that happened was she learned some new shots. She learned some new ways to manage her game. She really grew as a player this year. And it wasn't just the same old Brianna coming back. She added some new things to her arsenal. And she also was a leader in that she prepared well. She was efficient in preparation. She was efficient in practice. The players watched that every day and saw that she was, a woman among a bunch of really young players, doing things the right way. And I think it really helped our team.
So I definitely started the season in the first 3 games playing as a right side, and that's what I've been doing since I moved to CSU. And I had some past experience playing as middle back at home, but since moving to CSU, I've always mostly focused on the right side. So it did come as a bit of a surprise when for one of the games I started playing middle, but I actually enjoy the position, and I just had to find that just good communication with the setter and finding all of those just good tips to get into that position as well.
And Sasha was fairly consistent for most of the year. She has a hitting style where she hits at 0 tempo, and she's more difficult for people to block. And she was able to use that weapon effectively. When you look at our team and say we want to put the best 6 volleyball players out on the court, there's no doubt she's one of the best 6 volleyball players on the team, maybe one of the best. And she understands the game, understands how to attack, and she has really improved as a blocker over the past years. So I think Sasha is moving in the right direction in this program, and she proved that she can be a very effective attacker, and teams are going to have to start really paying attention to her, because if they don't, she hits in the 400s like she did several times this year. Alexa was always a great serve receiver. She was last year, she was this year. But where she emerged this year was as a left back defender. And I think you saw it in the Vegas match where she set that record, and she really was reading the game well, getting into right spots, digging really effectively, and she carried that through the rest of the year. She's a very good overall volleyball player. She's a very coordinated kid who understands every aspect of the game. She could set for us if we needed her to. So, having her out on the court gives us stability and gives us maturity, because you have that one anchor there in 6 rotations. She is a good leader. She's not a loud leader, but she's a good leader, and she's appreciated by her teammates. And I think, she's somebody that I think helped us, because we would have been very, very immature as a back row team this year without her, and she really made a difference.
I think, honestly, having so many freshmen come in, they had to learn how to mature on the court very quickly, because they were vital parts of our team. So the first match, I think people were a little unsure about themselves and really were just trying to get used to the college environment. And then by the last match, we had freshmen out there playing like they had been playing for a couple years. So it was really cool to see.
I saw a lot of me in Kennedy. She plays very similar to me. She has the same composure, the same confidence. And I think that, as you could see, she developed so quickly during the season, and even behind the scenes, the things that you didn't see. And I think next year she's definitely going to be a force to reckon with.
Yeah, Kennedy Stanford was super impressive this year. Coming in as a freshman, even in practices, she kept the same consistency every single day, and that's really impressive for a freshman to do. And from the first day she was here to the last, you could see her maturity grow, because we needed her on the court, and she was able to take that role and really run with it, and she played with so much maturity throughout the year. It was really impressive to see.
This year, having the background crowd noise, it's nice, but it's not quite the same. And so even when you're playing in the smaller venues where we're allowed to be a few more fans, this year at away games, it was a good shift in energy. And so I think being able to be in Moby and have thousands of people doing that would be great.
I think the biggest challenge for all of us was to be loud and vocal so we could encourage each other, because sometimes when we have so many fans, it's easy to forget to celebrate every point, because the fans do so much for us. Everyone is just really loud, so we don't really have to feel like we have to carry on every single point. Instead, with Moby being more quiet and fake noise, it really felt like it could get quiet sometimes, so we just had to step up our volume and communication.
I'm super excited for next season and having a full crowd and just looking up and seeing waves of white or waves of orange for the different games, and really having a full thousands of people behind you and enjoying that energy.
When people look back on this year, 2-3 years down the road, they're going to realize that the adversity that we faced maybe helped us grow. And you can find growth, you can find positives in any time where you have adversity, and I think that's going to happen with Ram Athletics in all sports, and certainly volleyball.